Oh, okay. See, no, it has to be closer. The reason it sounds bad is because it's too far.
Are you trying to bring it up closer?
Yeah, so... Hello? Okay, it's moving. Okay. Hey, guys, it's Mercury in retrograde, so we know that there's going to be technical difficulties. My assistant, Lamar, is sitting here to hold the space for our guest and decided to pour himself some brown liquor.
I got to prep for when I go home.
Lamar, just drink it. Just drink it now so you can metabolize it before the show's over, because you're driving us home.
Oh,
Lamar,
right.
that's a double shot. Lamar.
It's okay. I'm a grown man.
You're a grown man who's a designated driver. Get out the chair. Our guest is here.
Oh, my bad.
Say goodbye, Lamar.
Goodbye. Thank you guys for having me for these 5 seconds of fame. The real
Lamar, get up.
Without further ado, Mr. Brian Henry.
Mr. Brian Henry, yes. BHen. Aw, hug me. Oh, you smell good. You always smell like a third date, Brian. I appreciate it.
A third date? What about the first date?
Oh, you don't know what a third date means, do you?
No, I don't. Put me on.
Okay, Brian doesn't know what a third date means.
Are we drinking today too?
Oh yeah, we always drink. Okay, so that's yours. I poured you. I would see. Here's the thing: we drank wine last time, so I was gonna. Why does he sound so much better than me? I'm gonna have sound envy. Brian sounds amazing. I sound like a tin can. Hello, mic check.
Mic check 1 2.
See, see.
Nah, it's just this. It's just this.
Michael, I don't sound like that.
It's just his resonance in his voice.
You know what?
That's all.
Hello. Okay, I'll put it closer. Okay, this is getting phallic now, but I'm trying to sound as good as Ryan. I'm gonna take the headphones off.
Do I keep them on or take them off?
Huh?
I mean, I always got headphones on, so it don't bother me.
You sound amazing with them on. I think it's distracting with them on for me. So you keep yours on so you can sound like that to yourself. But I need to be professional. For those of you who've been listening, our guest today is Brian Henry. He is amazing. He literally just got his car and sat down in the middle of all this debauchery. First of all, we have to toast before we get started.
Sure.
So we're going to toast to abundance, alignment, and being at the right place at the right time with the right people.
Amen to that.
Amen to
Cheers,
that.
salud.
Are you going to have that voice the whole time? Okay, let's do this.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, that's a big shot, Lamar.
It is a big shot, brother.
Lamar?
It's okay. And I'll take another. You trying to loosen me up? You know I'm already loose.
Yes. Oh. Should I put on my headphones for this? Okay. You know what? Actually.
Yes.
Brian, I'm so excited for you to be here. When I had maybe I had my headphones on backwards. Hello? Oh, I sound amazing now. So you guys, I'm a simple bitch. I had my headphones on backwards. That's why I couldn't hear myself. So Brian, the show is called Humanized.
Sure.
Which he said, sure. He's like, yeah, let's go for it. And the reason it's called Humanized is because we take larger than life people or larger than life topics and we humanize them.
Okay.
So there's no good guys or bad guys here. It's just human beings doing human shit.
Okay.
And the reason why I'm giving you that premise is because there's something so polished about you. You're so polished. So we're going to lift the lid and see what's underneath.
Uh-huh.
Why? I love the way that you're looking at me like, girl, what are you getting me into? I promise you, Ryan, it's not going to be nothing crazy.
What's underneath the lid? I mean, we're about to find out.
We're about to find out. So before we get started with who you are, because I think a lot of people who are going to be listening to this already know of you. And if they don't,
we skip over that.
No, I still want to talk about who you are. I want to talk about hot topics real quick.
Sure.
First thing I want to talk about is the social media outage.
Mm-hmm.
Did you weep in the shower for 6 hours until Instagram came back? How did you deal with the fact that there was no social media for half a day?
Listen, people get to just be their real selves for the moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was like, oh, it's cool. But I think it was indicative of everyone's response to it is indicative of where we are in society as it relates to social media. You know what I mean? Some people were losing their shit.
I saw people literally questioning their life choices.
Exactly.
Because were you hitting refresh for the whole time?
Nah, I mean, I was like, ooh, I ain't posting in a while. This is confirmation that I need to keep on what I'm already doing.
Oh, I love that for you. I work on the internet, so I was like, does this mean I'm off?
I'm the type of person I like the way my life feels versus what it looks like. But
I love that.
It's sometimes a challenge because what I do requires me to be social in public, but then also on social media, you know? So like we host this amazing event and I've posted like once since then, you know, because I'm just like, I'm still.
Are you an introvert on the low?
Low key. You might find that under this hood.
We're going to definitely get under the hood. The name for that is ambivert, by the way.
No, I'm not. I don't think I'm an introvert or ambivert. I'm really an extrovert.
You're really an extrovert?
But when I'm in my shell, I'm in my shell.
Because I swear to God, like when you're not being B-Hen, right?
For sure.
Because to me, there's two people. There's B-Hen, who I see at the party. I'm like, oh, wow. And then there's sweet, thoughtful, drinking wine at my house, Brian.
So who's B-Hen? He's
No,
ratchet.
No, he's look at Lamar. Lamar's no, B-Hen is like a firecracker, right? Brian is like curled up. Like you want to hold you to your bosom and feed you wine. Like it's two different.
There is, yeah. The guy on stage is
look at Lamar. Lamar's literally
crazy.
pantomiming who B-Hen is.
Oh boy,
Sophistiratchet. How do you feel about being called Sophistiratchet by the PA over here?
You know, you just do it. You get it how you live. You know.
If you had to force rank, which version of you is your favorite? Because we're all layered. Is it the curl up on the couch drinking wine, Brian, or is it the
No, I love both versions. You know what I'm saying? They both serve their purpose at different times. You know what I mean?
Right. Do you think people have a misconception about you though? Because if I hadn't met
All
you
day.
personally, the Brian that I see, I don't think I would have perceived seeing you out and about.
For sure. Like most people think that my persona when I'm performing is my persona all the time. They expect me to be a lot more turned up and lit on a consistent basis. And
Right.
if I'm not on stage or DJing and performing in some capacity, I'm super chill. And that's
love
what
that.
people misunderstand all the time. They think outside of that my life is a whole party, and like, no, I'm actually not going to the parties. You know what I mean?
You're not, because I've tried to invite Brian to parties, and he's like, when you want to like chill, let me know.
And then it also depends on who's hosting said party. So
That's true too.
You know?
Ooh, a little shade, but I like that.
a little bit.
A little bit of shade. The thing I like about Brian is he's a Cancer. When I was 5 years old, minding my business on the playground, barely learned how to speak English yet because I just got to this country.
Speaking patois.
Yeah, a little Cancer girl walked up to me and said, I like your face. You want to be my best friend? And I was like, okay. And we were best friends for like 20 years. So I always love Cancers because they always choose me and they're nice to me and I just have to be myself. So you being a Cancer felt like cozy for
We're
me.
led from the heart. You know?
You guys really do. You guys can tell who's pure.
Mhm.
And because of that, I never have to prove myself.
For sure. And I mean, I'm at the point now, I used to begrudge having feelings. Like, why? Like, why
Really?
did God, you give me all these feelings? You know what I mean? Like, I don't
Your
want them.
emotions be getting to you.
You know, but what I've learned is that they're the compass. They're like my GPS. And I don't question things from a logical standpoint anymore. Like, if it feels right, I do it. If it doesn't, I don't.
So you're more intuitive than cerebral at this point in your life.
Well, I'm working to let go of that
Because you
cerebral, because I can get
you
real
got some
heady.
type A energy.
Very.
And as a fellow type A person who's also intuitive, and that's a weird hybrid to be,
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I feel like Brian has bullet points in his head too.
Oh, all day. That's why I'm a little tardy getting here, because I was doing expense reporting with the team.
Of course you were.
Of course, because I'm like, yeah, we got expenses. We gotta.
I'm so grateful for
Gotta
you for
get done.
making time for me because I feel like
No, it's my
when
pleasure.
someone is in your life, you have to pay attention to who makes time for you versus who has time for you, right? And there are people who, if they have time, you'll see them because it's convenient. And the one thing I've noticed about you in the short time that I've gotten to know you is every time I've seen you, it's because you were making time for me. So I just need you to know that I see that and I completely recognize that.
I can
Are you
appreciate-
blushing? Look
I
at
can
you.
appreciate that distinction. That's a good distinction. I never
Aw.
thought of it that way.
No, it's very intentional. And I think intentionality, especially post 2020,
Mm-hmm.
like we survived 2020. It's going to be in the history books.
Okay.
And we're going to be telling our kids, yeah, I remember crying when there was no toilet paper left.
No, I remember all the people thought they were losing it, and I'm just like, talk to God. It's time.
I actually really liked the time that we got to all be in the house.
For sure.
Because I was getting to the point where I was going out so much in LA. I had just moved to LA that I was starting to become one of those Monday through Saturday out the house people. And I felt like I was on this Ferris wheel that was about to spin out of control. And then COVID made it stop.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for me, I needed that stop for me to like recalibrate myself.
Well, I was one of those Tuesday through Sunday out of people, and I would take Mondays off like a barber or a
Oh, well,
beautician.
like a beautician, yeah.
But I would be on planes, sometimes 3 different planes in a week.
Still texting people though.
Crisscrossing, texting, communicating, not sleeping on the plane, working on the plane, and then get to the
You do more
location.
on a plane than most people do at the office.
Yeah.
You were sending invites. You were posting promo videos. I'm like, is that the flight attendant behind you, right?
I ain't gonna say I'm a hustler, but
You're a
if
hustler.
I'm really passionate about something, I'm gonna give all of my energy to it to the point that I'm depleted.
So, with all that being said, full circle back to the outage.
Mhm.
Because you're in this space where you've been introspective and you're a hustler and you're busy, when the outage happened, did you stop work and like meditate, or did you just like keep on doing expense reports like nothing had happened?
No, I was already on a little mini step away from work moment. I was down in San Diego for 2
Oh.
days because I just needed to
Interesting.
step away from it all. I hadn't had a break in about 6 weeks, maybe longer. And so
Oh.
it was the first time in that period that I had slept 100% full night and then got up with nothing on my mind.
Doesn't that feel good?
It felt amazing. I'm like, I want this every other day.
Oh my God. Having nothing to do for a couple of hours almost feels like sex to me these days. Like there was a time where, Lamar, fix your face. Okay, this is a grown show. Like I wrapped up work at 2:00 and didn't have to start getting ready for the show until 4:30. And I was like, wait, I have 2.5 hours.
Oh, can you, I want to borrow some of your time.
I laid there for 2 hours and like was so in love with that. I was like, I need like a week of this. I need a week of not having anything to do. Okay, so we talked about the outage, and a lot of people are saying the outage happened because of Mercury retrograde. Do you believe in Mercury retrograde?
Absolutely.
Who doesn't in 2021?
I mean, I think people don't understand what it is. You know, Mercury retrograde. Mercury is the planet that controls communication, technology, Absolutely. The way we think, the way we communicate. And so any planet that's in retrograde is simply going in reverse in comparison to the normal axis around the sun.
You better speak on astrology. That just got me really, that was amazing. Usually people don't really understand what retrograde is. And you know what I love about retrograde is though? It creates the kind of chaos that forces you to see things for what they are.
For sure.
Like imagine you go to somebody's house and the house looks perfect. And then you open that one closet and everything comes falling out.
They say your house ain't clean if your closet's dirty.
Yeah, and the funny thing is my closets are clean, but I have a junk room.
Oh, well, same thing. I got a junk room too.
Yeah, like it's so funny because my friend came over and he was like, "What's in here?" And he opened the door to the junk room and he was like, I think little clowns came out. Like he was like, "What the fuck is it?"
Unsolved mysteries was up in there.
Are you really, really a big clean freak though?
It's funny because I clean exceptionally well. Like even I'm wearing this. I'm not supporting stolen valor at this moment. This jacket I have on, this Army jacket. My dad is 23 years retired military.
Oh, that's amazing.
So I somewhat feel like I've done my time. I served my country. No, but you know, this is his jacket, and my brother and I we took it from him, and we wear it from time to time.
You guys take turns, like the traveling pants?
My younger brother and I, we take turns wearing it. But no, it's an homage to him. But because my pops was 23 years Army, like we clean like...
Oh, you're one of those.
He was a drill sergeant when it came down to cleaning. So I know how to clean exceptionally well. But I think that in my rebellious spirit, now that I'm grown, stuff would just be... I'm the type of person, I live all over the house. Like,
oh, so you have the ability to be a neat freak. You just choose otherwise.
I have the ability to be Mr. Clean. And when I clean better than anybody.
You probably clean better than me.
I do.
Well, damn, Brian, you're supposed to be like, no, girl, you look like you clean really well.
I'm not to say that you don't clean really well, but you don't clean better than me.
For those of you who can't see me today, I have a head wrap on. I look like Erykah Badu.
Maybe
right? You would think that I look like the typical like DC girl who with the big hoop earrings who can clean the house and fry the... No, I'm going to tell you right now, I was one of those kids who would sit around reading all the time. And my mother would be cleaning around me. It wasn't because I was dirty. I was just too busy reading. I was always in my head daydreaming.
So your mother said, you're not going to be domestic. You going to get in these books, baby.
She said, you're going to be an administrator. Yeah. Clearly. She always said that because she was like, you're not even lazy. You're just always in your head. I lived in my head. Were you a dreamer as a kid? Or were you more of like a workhorse?
No, I'm very much a dreamer. But I think now I see it's a combination of both. I'm the dream catcher. Like, if I'm dreaming something, I'm gonna go out and
wait.
get
Is that bars? I'm the dream catcher. I feel like you. Did you rehearse that?
Nah.
He was like, she asked me about dreams. I'm going to tell her. All right, we're about to get into these questions. So anybody who's listening to us, Brian said that he was unmoved by the internet going out. Zuckerberg might have lost $7 billion, but all he got was some peace. Were you in San Diego alone, or did you have a friend with you?
I went with my homies. He had to pull me out of town just to relax.
The fact that your friends look after you so well.
That's
the first thing I noticed about you. I was like, his people really take care of him.
I ain't gonna front. I put my people up against anybody. My friends
are against my people.
Best people in the world on the planet. Like, I'm extremely blessed to have amazing friends. Like,
is this something that you got from staying in one place for a long time, and then you were able to like get an aggregate of friends, or have you accumulated them from being different places?
Well, I think it's the direct opposite. Like, being a military brat growing up, I didn't ever stay in one place. And I think when I got to college, like, I over-indexed, and I finally got friends that we're going to be together for 4 whole years.
Aww.
And so, a lot of people say, oh, my friend from school is like, nah, these are my friends right now. And a lot of them have transitioned to LA, and then I've been in LA over a decade now. So,
Jesus.
We're
going to get into the whole LA thing.
I'm an OG in these streets.
I'm not. I was here for about 25 minutes before COVID hit. I literally was like,
but you survived.
I did. Although, you know what's so funny? I'll go to an event and be like, why do I know 60% of the people here? I don't know anybody.
But you popping.
You know what? I'm gonna receive that. I'd be like, no, stop it. No, I'm gonna receive it.
Okay.
My new thing is now, if anybody says anything nice to me, is to fight the urge to push it away.
No deflections.
I am the queen of deflecting a compliment.
I've been there before. That mean that not only that you didn't receive it, but you didn't believe it, which is why you couldn't receive it.
Well, here's the thing. I went from not believing it to being penalized for believing it.
Why?
Because I was around people who judged abundance.
Haters.
Yeah. I mean, I don't,
Hey, is what it is.
They were haters. I call them loyal fans. But because I got to a point where me liking myself was a threat to people, I was like, well, I got to hide how much I like myself. Yeah, I've stopped doing that. Because I realized that anybody you have to hide for, you probably shouldn't be seen by anyways.
For sure.
All right, so Brian, you ready for these questions?
I'm ready. Let's get it.
First one is, who is B-Hen?
B-Hen is a moniker. B-Hen, actually, we worked to put him to bed about almost 20 months ago at the top of 2020. I performed as B-Hen for about 10 years. And then it was always something in the back of my mind, like, yo, like I'm being a truncated, condensed version of myself.
Oh, that's deep.
And it was a name that was given to me in undergrad because it was two Brians and they got tired of being confused of who's who.
Oh, so you were B-Hen just to make it easy. That makes sense.
To make it easy. They started calling him his last name and then calling me B-Hen. And when I took on DJing as a craft, it just made sense. Let's go with my nickname. But the truth is, when you're operating in a condensed version of yourself, that's not really shining your light as brightly as possible. And so Brian Henry is more than just a DJ.
That is, you know what, Brian? I feel like you are the perfect person to work in PR. Your answers are so perfect. I made it a point to like not want you to know too much about the questions. And you're like, pew, 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 hitting the back of me. All right, so if B-Hen is a condensed version, for those of you who don't know, there's something called the BHen Block Party. Mm-hmm. Everybody in LA, literally everybody in LA knows about this.
About 1,700 people at our last event.
I feel like those numbers are conservative because everybody, that's not counting people who were at home or who couldn't sneak away from their partners. Everybody in LA knows about the BHen Block Party. And like this party has become like this huge family reunion.
Yeah, for sure.
It feels like when you go there, you're having a great time, but you're going to run into about 30 people that you know. Even a newbie like me, left and right. How did that happen? Like, how did you even come up with making the block party a thing?
Oh, I'm from the East Coast. I'm from Baltimore. And
represent DMV.
And then you get out to LA, and obviously it's extremely different.
Oh, child.
And what I noticed is that a lot of people were intimidated by the process of going out in nightlife. Girls were concerned about the dresses and the heels that they would need to wear or how they need to present aesthetically. And then the guys felt like they had to spend racks on racks on racks to get in. And so I want to do away with all the things that separate us, the sections, the VIPs, the guest list. I want everyone to be equal because all of those things that separate us don't really represent music because music is love and music conjoins. It brings us together.
Amen.
And so it was created out of the desire for that. But then also a venue manager told me I couldn't play hip hop on my birthday.
Oh.
I'm like, she's like, you can bring all your people, but you can't play that trap. And I'm like, I'm not even a trap DJ. But
what was the mindset behind you not being able to play a whole genre?
I don't know.
Not even like one band R. Kelly song, but a whole genre of music.
I don't know what it was, but that was the impetus for me to be like, nah, I'm cool. Because you can't necessarily want our numbers and our attendance and our money, but not want the fullness of who we are, our culture. So that's
Here's
how
the thing.
Block Party was started.
The Block Party.
Yeah.
What is the page that they can find on Instagram for those who are nosy and living under a rock?
It's at BHen Block Party.
Now, this party's not just in LA. It's been to Atlanta. It's been to DC. I feel like at some point you're gonna be like, you're coming to Zambia. I feel like you're going everywhere, right? And the one thing that is the first thing that you see when you're new to it, like I am, is the fact that every group at the cafeteria is there.
Everybody.
Usually there's like the gay kids, the cool kids, the Illuminati kids, the weirdos, like
the jocks, the pretty girls.
Like you have everybody at the cafeteria forced to sit at the same table.
And I love that because
was that on purpose?
Absolutely. I think that we often think there's a lot of things that make us different, but at the end of the day, those differences aren't as vast as we imagine them to be. And that's why music, they perpetually say, is the universal language because it brings us together. You may be a Jewish guy from upstate New York who went to, boarding school your whole life. But if we both are jamming on this Future track or this Cardi B or this K Tronada or this Marvin Gaye or whatever the track might be, all the things that we think separate us don't really exist on the dance floor, And so I'm happy that the event represents all aspects of culture. And I mean, particularly speaks to the African diaspora, just everybody.
Speak about the diaspora, because one of the things I loved was that I heard Afrobeats, I heard trap, I heard a little bit of Brazilian. I was like, oh, we're all here.
Some Baye funk. Yeah.
Yes, like I love that.
Because we're not a monolithic being, Black people. We're not just all
Please
one
speak on
way.
it.
You know, whether you come from the East Coast, West Coast, whether you're from West Africa or just anywhere. Like even I most recently went to Brazil for 3 weeks. It's supposed to be a 2-week trip.
Was that when you were visiting Dave?
Yeah.
We have a mutual
buddy,
friend.
Dave
Dave is the Clive Davis. I'm gonna look into the camera for this. Anybody who likes anything that I do in digital media, the way Clive Davis discovered Whitney Houston, David Wilson is the only reason I'm doing digital media and not still working academia. So I love you, Dave. Like he literally started my entire career.
And
he's your and he's your friend.
That's
like
my buddy.
That is so crazy. And Dave was such a good person that me knowing that you guys knew each other, I was like, okay, so Brian has to be in my life because Dave approved.
And there you go. That's how the circle, when you talk about all these friends that you run into.
Right. Because then you start talking about people that you knew. And I was like, wait, I think I kind of know that person. And you were like, okay, we have to be family now because we have like 70 people.
Exactly.
That's crazy how that works.
But I think, you know, we talk about 6 degrees of separation. Obviously, Black folks,
like 3 degrees.
It's less than that, you know. And then with social media and then just the connectivity, you know. But like going to Brazil, Dave's the ambassador for Black Americans coming down to experience the Afro-Brazilian experience. And I have been listening to Baye funk and bossa nova and different genres from Brazil for years, but to actually go down there and experience how, you know, Afro-Brazilians dance to it, like that was shit. When I got back, I'm like, oh, I would put it in my sets here and there, but like, no, it's a standout moment. You gonna hear this now.
I actually have, I'm planning to go visit Dave soon. And so I think it was during your set. And I was like, I think this is Brazilian music. Because I had an ex who used to be obsessed with Brazil. Yeah. And so I've learned to like kind of hear it and kind of recognize it. And I was like, look at Brian showing off for a quick second.
Listen, I love it. It makes you move your hips. It
really does.
Move the waistline.
And you know, I'm Haitian and Cuban. My people, we're very big on hips.
Absolutely. And one of the cool things that Dave taught me while I was down there, because I, you know, initially would confuse songs from Brazil with Afro beats.
Oh, okay.
What he explained to me is that during the transatlantic slave trade, when Portuguese colonized Brazil, you know, and our ancestors were brought over from Africa, European settlers who brought our ancestors over to North America, they got rid of everything, whereas Europeans, colonizers who brought us over to South America, they liked our drums, so they allowed us to keep our drums.
Oh, wow.
So the drum pattern and the beats per minute is similar to Afro beats because, you know, in the Brazilian funk, they were able to keep the, you know, it just, you know, it stuck with us. Whereas like, you know, in the rural South, we clapping and it's a different type of soul because we didn't have the same tools. We didn't have our drums.
Oh, so that's like the part that remained. Okay, you know what I love about Brazil in particular? Back in the 90s, they used to have like Pharrell and Jay-Z videos, like, you know, and they would have like songs Beautiful. Where that's exactly the song I was thinking. And you saw a certain kind of Brazilian girl. And I remember this guy one time was like, you know, I want to get me a Brazilian girl. I was like, then you should get on the bus in DC because Brazil has the highest capita of like Black people outside of like Nigeria. Yeah. It's actually the blackest place on earth outside of Africa. So
which is how incredible is that?
So when people think about Brazilian girls, you thinking about me? Because they look like it's Black girls, you know what I mean? It's Black people. And I think Dave wanting African Americans to go to one of the blackest places on earth, like baby Wakanda is what I call it, to recognize that we are everywhere.
We are. And I think that's powerful because so much of our story has been, you know, taken away from us and we've always been made to feel less than. But when you see our people who speak a different language but still have similar struggles or similar, you know, things that we've overcome and how beautiful we show up in different environments, different countries, different places, like it's empowering for me. And so the least I can do is make sure I bring back music to that experience here in the States.
I love that. And I always like say to my African-American friends, like, don't ever use the term normal Black because this happened to me a long time ago. I had just moved to DC.
What that mean?
Oh, yeah, it pissed me off. I had just moved to DC and I was talking to somebody about something and I used to have dreadlocks and I cut them off.
Or locks.
Yes, we'll get into that conversation. Yes. And I cut them off and within like a year and a half, my hair was back. Like it grew really fast. And instead of saying, oh, that's great that you knew how to take care of your hair. She was like, oh, your hair grows fast because you're Haitian and Cuban. I'm just regular Black.
No.
And the rage that filled me, and I said, what the fuck is regular about being Black? And she was like, no, you know, I'm not exotic. I'm just regular Black. It's like, please stop saying that. I'm from a different country, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had to come here and learn African American culture because it is a culture.
It is.
It's a real culture. And it hurts my heart when my African American friends think that they don't have a culture at all.
Well, I mean,
it hurts my heart.
It was systematically designed that way.
Exactly. And so I think something about my African American friends when they travel and they come back and they realize all the tentacles that connect them to the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly, I took her out of the country. I like literally the next time I traveled, I was like, "You're coming with me."
Mm-hmm.
And she came back she was like, "Okay, I'm not regular black. There's no such thing."
Because there's no exposure to the macrocosm. You just see your micro experience. But when you get to travel, you realize you're one micro of the macro. You see the bigger picture.
You go to Ghana and everybody looks like you, and you're like, "Wait a minute, what?"
And I went to the Great Return to Ghana too. So and that was my first time in West Africa. And
Of
I was
course
like,
you did. You're everywhere.
Wow, I'm very blessed.
You're like Mastercard. You are everywhere. Now, we were talking about 2 degrees of separation.
Sure.
Now, part of that in LA is dating.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, child. Maybe after 10 years here, you can help me out.
Baby, da, da, Buddha.
Dating in LA is different. What happened? Yeah, Lamar said he just leaned in when he heard dating in LA.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's different cross sections of dating in LA.
Mm-hmm.
There's socioeconomic cross sections, there's race, there's gender, and there's sexual orientation.
Mm-hmm.
As an Afro-Cuban, non-racially ambiguous Black woman who's pansexual, technically speaking, I should have a great time because I should be able to date everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I came to LA and I was like, oh, I get like 4 people. Like, it's very interesting in LA dating because, number one, finding Black people who date other Black people apparently is the thing out here.
That's not as much of a thing as people try to make it. But I have words for that. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So for me, I actually have been in spaces where I've seen a bunch of beautiful Black men and women and been really excited, and then found out that they very exclusively want either non-Black or non-Black presenting partners. And I was like, you know what? That's a certain crowd that does that.
Sure.
Then I went to Leimert Park and I was like, oh, there's people here who like Black people too. And I got really excited. That's why I love Leimert Park. Shout out to that whole part of LA. You guys gave me hope again.
Yes.
But then also I realized that there was a thing here too about status. So a lot of men here who are masculine presenting and feel like they have to be providers feel a way about not having enough money to date.
Sure.
Because affordability for dating in LA is very different than other places.
You walk outside the house, you sneeze, you spend $100 in LA.
I've realized that if I leave my house, I'm losing $300.
At least.
That is
not even, you're going to.
That's become my number.
It's hard to leave the house and not spend $100 in LA.
If I leave LA and I want to spend time with another human, and I want to in any way interact and have the time that I want, me behaving is about $275. I've literally I'm like, okay, so $275 is like I'm trying to be decent. What the hell? In DC, $20 I could turn up for a weekend.
I mean, it's a different thing. We're way on the West Coast.
So what that mean?
Export, transport, getting things over here, like it costs more.
So explain. The avocados are more expensive, so I got paid $300 to go to the club. Okay, so Brian, explain to me.
Sure.
What has dating in LA been like for you? Because you sound a lot more optimistic.
I'm very optimistic.
Oh, you're one of those. Okay, that's beautiful.
Well,
you sound very optimistic. Explain it to the rest of us who are crying.
I think anyone who's concerned about dating has to understand the intricacies of LA and the West Coast as a whole, right? Okay. So you remember that game? Well, maybe, I'm not sure what grade you moved to the States in, but there's this game that used to make us play in Oregon Trail. I've heard of that game, and my generation, I'm the Oregon Trail generation. I think you are too. Yeah, for sure.
We're called the lucky ones, by the way. Please look this up, and this is a small tangent. There is a meme going around about how there's a generation that's lucky because they saw the analog and the digital at the same time.
That's definitely us.
But check it, the 90s babies are trying to appropriate it. Stop doing that, y'all. You stole our generation. It actually, anybody who's born between 1975 to about 1985, we are called the lucky ones because
I think it goes deeper into like early 92, 93.
Yeah,
maybe.
but here's the thing though, like they call it the Oregon Trail generation, right? Because we got to see things phasing out of the old way and phasing into the new way.
For sure.
So for me, I want to know, what is it like for someone who's not 25 in particular?
Well, to that analogy, the Oregon Trail, I don't even fully remember the game, but I remember learning that coming to the West Coast was all about a gold rush. A lot of people left their families in the South and the East Coast in pursuit of riches. And that's if you're confident enough and bold enough in that era prior to anything digital in terms of communication to leave your entire family structure, that's a very individualistic pursuit. True. And I think that culture permeates even into today. LA is the entertainment capital of the world. The Bay Area tech capital, and Seattle as well. The entire West Coast, people abandon, or not abandon, or they make peace with leaving the family unit to come to Los Angeles and to pursue their individualistic goal.
I agree.
And so with that mentality, the cohesion and collectiveness that we like and we love in the South and the East Coast isn't as present. It's here, but it's not the number one guiding factor when people move here. So when you talk about men and dating, you come out here, you're like, yo, I got to have a bag. I have to be financially established before I'm willing to give my time in a way to a partner, because I'm not going to feel as valued until I'm more financially set, because that's my intention to coming here. Dating was a tertiary benefit of the primary and the secondary benefits of coming here,
No, so here's the thing. I understand the reasoning. I still don't think it excuses the not dismantling it, right? Because just because something has a reason for happening doesn't mean you don't get to evolve from it.
Oh, for sure.
And a part of me is sad because this is a land of transients who did come from the East Coast and the South now.
Mm-hmm.
And when we come here and we brought those values with us, and we're trying to build community, but people have a chip about, I can't open up to you and be vulnerable until I can prove myself in XYZ way that's external. Because late at night at 3:00 in the morning, when I'm having a bad day or my family member is sick or I need a support system, I'm not thinking about your FICO score in that moment.
Facts.
I'm thinking about what kind of partner are you? What kind of life are we building? You know what I mean? And the one thing I know from being around so many rich people is that you can make $1 million then lose $1 million in the same breath.
Quick. Ask Zuckerberg.
He lost $7 billion in a couple hours. And so I think for me, the reason why dating out here makes me sad isn't because I don't understand why it's happening. It's because it makes me feel like there's so many missed opportunities where people are judging each other's representatives when their hearts could have been really compatible.
I completely agree. It just takes you a level of awareness. And I explain that to not explain it away.
Yeah.
But I think most people just aren't even aware of that.
Yeah.
Like the overarching, why did someone even come here? And then,
but you're absolutely right, though. If you come to LA, you've left everything behind.
For sure.
To be Hollywood.
Oh, my family thought I was crazy, but it is what it is. But then coupled with that in terms of Black guys and dating outside their race, you know what I mean?
Well, I don't have an issue with that at all, actually.
You don't? Because most times that's always the next thing. I look at it like this in terms of Black culture. Hips, lips, fingertips, everything about a Black woman is beautiful. You know what I mean?
Speak on it.
And then the same thing in turn, so that's why some of our Black women's attributes are then now seen, cosmetically designed on other cultures, But I think it's the same. So the aesthetic, the voluptuousness of a Black woman is in demand, But it's the same thing in reverse. Black men and Black dick is also in demand.
It's great. Yeah. Well, here's the thing, though. It's great.
Whether you're heterosexual or homosexual or whatever,
or any sexual,
and any sexual.
I'm pansexual, so I'm not. Yeah, I'm all the above. Yeah.
And I think for a lot of Black men who prefer Black women, or just have been accustomed to dating Black women, when they get to a market like Los Angeles and they've never had a Venezuelan, Vietnamese, Chinese, or array of different cultures, I think a lot of Black men look at it like Baskin Robbins 31 flavors. I'm from Selma, Alabama. I'm from Detroit.
But
I ain't never even seen this before.
This is where history comes in again, though, right? Because here's my pushback. I'm all about intention and direction.
Sure.
So if you intend to find love and you're running towards love, I don't care what you end up with, because that's your intention, your direction.
Amen.
If you are intending to find clout and are running away from your community, now I have a problem with you.
I agree with that.
So there are Black men that I know who very specifically will not date a Black woman because they know that a non-Black woman is considered a higher status symbol. They're who I have a problem with, right? Because I know Black guys who, when you say, who do you date? If they say, I like beautiful women, I can rock with that because you're looking for love. If you literally will date anything that is not a Black woman and you're running from your community because you think having a non-Black woman is an exotic arm piece, that's very different than the guy who just happened to fall in love with a white girl. That's very different to me.
Completely different. Yeah. And again, it circles back to point number one, the individualistic pursuit of whatever my goal is. If you attach, the woman on your arms as a status symbol versus a partner I'm gonna love her and she's gonna love me, then you make different choices. And I'm not here to validate those choices. I'm here, I think, more so, or just in this piece of the conversation, to maybe explain some of it, whether right or wrong, to those who are disheartened by dating, and to more or less accept it. And when you understand it, you can accept it, and there's no room to complain about it. So you don't have to energetically radiate dating isn't working. You can actually you know what, that segment of those guys and those people may not want to date me, but I'm amazing and I have opportunity to date other people who actually get it. Because a lot of folks just aren't woke enough to understand. I hate the term woke, but a lot of people just aren't aware enough to get it. And I think it just understanding the parameters that are at play will open you up to love that can come in a different way.
Well, the funny thing is I only am attracted, like I only like who likes me, so I don't have these problems. Like if you're not checking for me, I'm not worried about you to begin with.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know any Tauruses, but
I know a few.
We're very good at minding our business. Like you gotta come find us. You might know some messy ones. You know, are they men or women though? We'll talk about this in a second.
Both, but I mean, you mind your business, but you know everybody else's business. So are you minding your business?
Yeah, because perfect example. I was sitting in bed. My friend left my house to go hang out. I had somebody call me and tell me everything he did that night.
Yeah.
I didn't call her. I wasn't looking for it. I wasn't even interested, but she wanted me to know. So I think, I don't know, I can't speak for other Tauruses, but people feel safe venting to me. So I know everybody's business without asking for it. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I think for me, the only issue that I have, because I really don't care about what's happening in anybody's bedroom but mine, is when those people are gatekeepers to the cultural norm. And then it's not just their business anymore. It's seeping into everybody. And now other people are having self-esteem issues, or other people are being downplayed, or other people are going to parties of certain celebrities who won't let a woman who looks a certain way in. Because
that's trash.
Yes. So for me, if it was only your problem, I actually wouldn't give a shit.
Right.
It's when it seeps into the culture and poisons other people who are minding their business, where I'm like, oh, you've made your personal self-loathing stuff about status a cultural norm. And now me, who's minding my business, has to look at a man and be like, oh, fuck, now because it's popular for you pretend like I'm not cute when you know I am. Yeah. I have to first suss out if you're one of those. Like now it's become my problem, right? If it wasn't my problem, I don't think I would really care. But there's a thing in LA, I realized that the first time I talk to a guy, regardless of who he is, I'm always like, oh God, let's see how much he likes himself in his community.
That's real though. Because, I mean, if you can't love and like yourself, then he ain't got that much to offer you in the first place.
And he has a lot to prove.
Yeah.
And I mean, people with a lot to prove move different.
I don't say it to condone it. I mean, I actually agree with you in terms of, like, it's unfortunate that it's seeped into the culture. You know how many songs I haven't played in the past?
Really?
You know, I eat the box because she light skinned. So let me get this straight.
Oh wow, yeah.
Artist, you telling me you're more interested in having oral sex with a woman because she's of a certain complexion in comparison to another one? Like that's toxic. Yeah. It's sick. You know what I mean? It doesn't really that's a reflection of how it seeps into the culture for those who aren't aware enough to understand it. It's entertainment coming from their point of ignorance. Some people it brings up a new generation of guys who then perpetuate that. So
who say things like, I need to find a girl as light as possible to wash them in the black out of my bloodline. I'm like, that's not about love.
That's terrible.
That has nothing to do with love. So for me, anywhere love is, I won't judge it. Yeah. But anywhere I feel self-loathing, even if it doesn't affect me, as somebody who just loves love, I get sad. Like, damn, you could have had somebody really amazing and you made up this reason not to give them a chance, and it's not even real. It's something that you were told to make up in your head. So here's the thing. When you are dating, what is... And we're about to, this is us lifting the lid.
Come on, lift the lid.
Oh, okay. What is something that makes you say, I want to lean in. I'm intrigued.
You got to be smart.
Nice.
If you're to be my future partner, you have to be smart. What they say, beautiful gals.
I want everybody who's watching on Patreon who can see Brian's face. I think he had a mini moment. Yeah. You were sapiosexual, huh? You got a little aroused right now.
No, for real.
Brian blinked at half rate. His breath got shallow.
It turns me on, you can't, if you're dumb as rocks, I don't care how fine you are, I'm gonna be looking at you like, yo.
Like what happened?
What you know, my mom just didn't allow the fact that you may be handsome to give you a pass on not being aware or knowledgeable.
And Brian is handsome, for those of you who are not watching the video. That was him saying, my mother knew I was pretty, and she told me it wasn't enough.
But it wasn't highlighted in my household. It was not a thing.
Really? When did you find out you were good looking, Brian? Somebody tell you in college?
Probably in college, yeah.
I knew it.
No, for real.
You were the cute nerd that in the Netflix movies, like, I didn't know I was hot.
No, it wasn't that bad, but it was just like, it was never valued in my household. So even to this day, I don't walk around like, yo, I look a certain way, so I expect this, that, like, it was about the integrity of who you are and the fabric of your character and how you show up, you know. But like, if you're smart, if you're intelligent, and you're putting that into toward great use to create value, not only for yourself but for other people.
Oh, I love that.
I'm leaning in. Like, hey, what's your name? What you doing?
I feel like you've practiced that.
I mean,
I feel like, you know what the funny thing is? I used to think that I needed smart until I met somebody who was smart but wasn't civically engaged. And me being a West Indian woman,
selfish smart.
Yeah, like the thing about being West Indian and coming from a Latin American community is that like community is like important like for survival.
For sure.
Right? Like where I come from, if your community doesn't have your back, you might not make it. So for me, there's something about emotional and physical safety that I associate with being civically engaged and making sure the tribe is okay. And if you are brilliant and it's only self-serving, I actually have the complete opposite reaction to you. Like, oh, so you don't know who's gonna eat. It turns me off.
About the tribe.
Yes, but here's the thing though. I meet a lot of men who say they want a smart woman. And I'm like, well, this is great because, you know, I got smart women problems. This is wonderful. We're going to jive. And then we have our first disagreement. And I realize that it's cute when it's facing towards other people. But when I'm saying, actually, there's a hole in that argument and they're not used to anybody being able to keep up long enough to even find a hole for them.
That's just ego.
It is ego. And so my question is like, are you someone who's had an ego death? Because I realized that my life didn't change until I had an ego death where I was like, ooh, what part of my ego is overinflated and needs to be balanced? I don't believe in having no ego because that's actually dangerous.
Yeah.
I believe in having a balanced ego.
So have I ever had an ego death?
Where you had to like, oh, I'm a little full of shit. I might need to make a lot of adjustments.
Yeah, of course. I think,
no, don't say that. There's people who die.
Well, no, for sure.
Delusional.
I just, at a younger point in my life, I was definitely more pop off. You know, I used to pop off all the time. You were spicy, Brian?
I'm
still spicy.
You are.
When I want to be. But I realized that was just a defense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was a defense from not being as emotionally present or vulnerable as I could be.
Yeah.
And so it was just a wall. And then I at a certain point realized that nothing and no one can hurt you without your permission.
Oh, I love that. You guys hear bars? I'm going to look into the camera. For anybody who is into ASMR, I feel like every time Brian answers a question, we should be opening up a Coke can really slowly. Yes. So.
No, seriously. Like, once you realize that you are the captain and you're literally maneuvering the ship with God, you know, your source, that becomes a relationship that's most important. And that's where the strength is derived. And it's like what goes on outside of me has less bearing of how I feel inside of me. Has
that impacted what you're attracted to? Because I feel like after my ego death, my type changed a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I ain't gonna say so much. It changed the type, but I think for me, knowing that I needed to be more vulnerable, knowing that it actually benefited me to have these emotions, it makes me more interested in a partner who can handle that or who can be present to it.
Yeah.
You know?
I used to quietly apologize for being smart. And I'm like, just stop dating dummies, girl. It's really that simple.
That ain't never gonna be the case.
Let me tell you something. I really almost slept with somebody. I slept with somebody who I would consider unintelligent or slow-witted. Like, I think that's the legal.
I've tried it a few times.
Oh, I tried it once. I think I got stupid. I really think it was contagious.
What's the term they say? Flaccid penis?
Yeah. Like
that was me.
I tried it one time.
So what do you call it? Sapiosexual? Like, if I'm not turned on from it don't got to be like, yo, what book we reading tonight? You know,
that's performative.
I mean? Like,
that's performative intelligence. Real intelligence shows up wherever in the street, at the boardroom. It's wherever you see it, you know it. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And I think performative intelligence is actually a big turnoff.
A lot of
because if you need everybody to know you're smart that bad, you're probably not that bright.
Right. I think it just naturally comes out.
Yeah. And a smart person who is not walking around saying I'm smart is the best thing because some people really want you to know. First of all, if you have to say you're deep or smart, you're probably not as much of either as you think.
At all. Or same thing when some people say, I'm so nice. Really? Are you?
Okay, Brian, I've made several videos about the word nice. Y'all know I don't trust nice people. We're going to get into that one day. I like compassionate people.
Yes.
Because niceness is all about likability, and likability is performative, which means I am doing something that is pleasing to your ego in this moment, and therefore I am nice. Kindness is demonstrative.
Yeah.
Like you do kind things. Compassionate is the best of both, right?
Or it's like doing something for versus from. I think those prepositions make a big difference.
And when you're compassionate, you're doing what's best for the greater good, not what's best for the ego.
Right.
So I'm a deeply compassionate person. Your feelings might get hurt sometimes. But what I'm doing is because I love you so fucking much that I care more about your heart than your ego.
So you like tough love like me?
Yeah, but my tough love is always steeped in like, I don't need to be right. I just love you so much that even if you hate me, I want what's best for you.
Whew, I've definitely experienced that a few times. Some friends have hated me, but then in the long run, you know, it's no love in being right. So it's not a matter of being right because inherently that makes the other person wrong. It's just more so, you know, when you're genuinely operating from compassion and love for someone else, you can see them sometimes more clearly than they can see themselves.
A lot of times more
and
clearly,
so some of those words that you may share with them that sting in the moment, it's like cough syrup.
I say I respect you enough not to lie to you right now.
Facts.
If I'm texting you and I say, hey, I'm about to keep it a buck, you know that my whole New York, DC, Boston, everything, my dick's coming out. Like, I'm literally about to keep it greasy with you, right?
You're laying on the table.
I'm laying on the table like plop, and it's impressive. You know, the funny thing is, though, I had to learn this because social intelligence is a kind of intelligence that a lot of us don't learn until later in life, which means you can be right and still be wrong if you have no social intelligence.
I think that Kanye experienced a lot of that.
He has very little social intelligence. And so the thing that I love is that, like, if the truth is a bridge, you're doing it right. The truth is a sword. If you're using the truth, the technical truth to cut somebody.
That's a great analogy.
So I'm like, are you building a bridge or are you wielding a sword? And if you're wielding a sword, I don't even want to hear the truth from you.
Facts.
Because it's fruit from the poison tree.
It's just like sometimes the most intelligent person in the room, you speak out of turn, you sound like a fool.
Because you are.
Yeah.
Like, context really does matter. And for me, people always say, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. For me, I take it a step further. It's also why you said it.
The intention behind it.
Because I know some really tactful people who still have dirty intentions. Let's keep it a buck.
That's the part that you didn't ask me. You're talking about what I like in dating, what I can't stand, pet peeve. Don't lie to me.
We're about to get into that, yes.
Because I remember every damn thing to a fault.
Can we toast to that?
We sure can.
Okay, let's toast to that.
I need the eye contact for that.
Oh, yes. Yes. Brian knows no eye contact is 7 years of bad sex, and I don't think either of us can afford that.
Once upon a time, I dated a liar. And
it's that came out strong.
It's a pet peeve of mine because it's like, it not only does it destroy the foundation of trust, but it also, like, if I have to spend time navigating what was accurate versus what was false, that's time that could otherwise be spent loving you.
Yeah.
And I have to question you and your intentions and your motives, and then for not only for yourself, but what does that mean for me as well? Like, it's just bad all across the board.
Also, too, I feel like if you loved me in the right way, my emotional safety is a priority to you. And when you lie to me, you're jeopardizing my emotional safety.
On all fronts.
Literally.
Because if you lie about something simple, how you do one thing is how you do all things. I'm going to start questioning everything. Like, you lie about taking out trash.
I had a friend recently said, he's like, I think I tell the truth too much. I was like, no, please keep that.
No.
Please. I prefer an ugly truth to, like,
a
just
pretty little lie.
Oh my God. And some of these pretty little lies are like, why did, like, you didn't get anything from it.
And what makes it worse is that people who lie, in my experience, with folks who lied, you have to create one lie to make it for the other lie, and at a certain point, your memory is not as good as me, mine, rather. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I also think it always comes down to image. People who lie for no reason just want to project a certain image, and they're a slave to that image rather than being a servant to the relationship. I feel like the word cheating, when people think of cheating, they think it means sleeping with somebody else. I'm different because, in DC, polyamory is really big. I tried it a lot, but it didn't work for me.
I think that's just across the world. People just don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, and here's the thing that's really interesting, though. Because I'm such a rare bird, I was like, I don't think I do anything normal. So I'm probably not going to be able to be monogamous. And so I was actually poly for a long time and then had a monogamous relationship and realized that I'm a basic bitch who actually likes one person at a time. I know. I was so disappointed.
What's wrong with that?
No, because I was like, I'm going to be like this polyamorous, pansexual, like, Afro, like Cuban witch. And I was like, girl,
take so much energy.
No, but I had, that's the thing. That's why I had the ego death, because I had become a slave to this
image,
peacock image that I had created as being other, right? Because other had been bad and I was a slave to making it good. And then I was like, girl, there's some simple things about you though. There's some things about you that are real old school.
Which is okay.
That's okay, right?
Yeah.
Like, now that I'm older, I recognize that. But 25-year-old me, seeing me now, would be like, Blue, you want to get married and have what now? I didn't want to settle down until like a year ago.
Welcome to the club.
Really?
Congratulations.
So you're at a place where you actually want to settle down?
I'm not gonna say settle down. Well, settle down is a tricky.
Settle down,
tricky
build
term.
up, whatever.
There we go. Build up, invest.
Yes.
I strongly believe when the time is right.
Yeah.
I was previously in a long-term relationship, and so I know what that looks like.
How long was it?
Too long.
That means it was approaching double digits when you say that.
Oh yeah, for sure. But that being said, spending a lot of my 20s in a relationship, you learn what love is, and I learned what love is not. And it's so important that, the person who becomes your partner can help you help each other build something that's overwhelmingly beautiful. The whole world can see it. It's palpable. Yeah. And if it's the wrong person, that person can destroy everything. And everyone also can see that. And it's not about what everyone else sees per se, but it's more so like, why are we here? Are we here to build up?
That's a great question. Why are we here?
Because for me, love simply means to give. We make it about everything else, but love is an action verb. It simply means to give.
Yeah.
And I'm here to give to you, and I'm here to give to receive from you. And it's not always going to be 50-50. We get it. Trials and tribulations.
It ebbs and flows.
It ebbs and flows. But your intention has to be to give. And I think we're best suited to give once we've given so much to ourselves. So I'm still giving to me, you know, and understanding what that looks like. And I'm soon approaching that time. Like,
soon
I'm
approaching
ready.
that's a very honest answer. Because I would have said that
I'm excited. Like,
you're excited about being in.
Yeah.
You know what I realized?
Because honestly, I feel like the world will get the best of me in that moment.
You, again, from a distance, who you are up close is so different. You see Brian on stage doing backflips and shit, and you're just like
hips gyrating.
You would not expect any of this. And I love what you said about love and being of service, because I realized that I have the ability to be selfish in a very healthy way. Like, I always recognize from watching my single mother put herself last that could, and my aunt literally, I think, putting herself last killed her. Like, she passed away way too early. Exactly, because she just put everybody first. And so when you lose, and I say the word aunt, but she raised me, so she was like my first mother. So when you lose the person who's your maternal figure because she literally put herself last to her death, I think that's what taught me that I had to be selfish in a healthy way. And I wish the American language had a healthy version of the word selfish. But when I'm in love and I'm in a space of being full for myself, I suddenly find it to be like an honor to be a servant.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm like, I have so much left over. Like, how can I serve you in this way? And so when I'm dating somebody who doesn't want to be of service, they think they're in love, but I know they're not.
Because they don't want to be of service. Yeah, I mean, but that's what it is. Everybody can be great because everybody can serve. You can serve is, again, circling back to love, is just to give. But when you step into a relationship expecting to receive, whether it's that status, that highlight reel, that picture on the gram, we look cute together, but that ain't it.
Statistically speaking, as of about 2 years ago, I don't know if the stats have changed, 3 out of 4 couples who do that are doing it performatively and are miserable. And they said that the happiest couples are those who sometimes even forget to post anything about their love.
Because they're so busy loving each other.
Amen. Like, when I'm having a great time, like, it takes me a while to be like, should I take a picture of this?
Say, cue the church track.
Cue the church track. Okay, Brian,
sure.
I can't look into your eyes, though, because I'd be forgetting the question. So we're going to go to the next. No, because you do this whole soulful stare thing, like, yes, Blue. And then, love is, a vowel and a W and an L. Like, and I forget what I'm saying. You guys, for those who do not have Patreon, this is the time for you to get it, just so you can see Brian's body language. Those of you
Same OG.
who understand, you are such a cat daddy. Those of you who understand body language understand that people who are fully present make me so giddy. Because I'm the girl who gets in trouble for staring too hard because I'm fully present.
My mom was big on that. She's like, eye contact, eye contact, eye contact. I've had girls and guys think that I was like trying to sleep with them just because I was making eye contact.
Because you were making eye contact?
Yeah, like because I'm speaking to you directly.
Yeah.
Maybe this tone.
Brian, you heard your voice. He's like, okay, maybe I can hear myself.
Maybe. Right. But no, like eye contact is important. It lets you know that you're engaged, you're present.
Yeah, I've had relationships accidentally start because I made eye contact to be friendly and I didn't know what was happening. Like, I'm like the Forrest Gump. I'm the Forrest Gump of dating. We're gonna have a conversation about that.
Go for it.
All right. So, biggest turn on was someone who is intelligent. Biggest turn off was someone who lies. I want one more from each of those questions that is less cerebral and a little bit more ratchet and or down to earth. Biggest turn on and turn off. The After Dark edition. Hit it, Brian.
I mean,
oh yeah, from the back of your throat, huh?
Being mindful of your physique, enjoying the temple that you're in, taking care of your temple.
Taking care of your temple is turn on.
That turns me on big time.
And what's the turn off?
A turn off.
And it can't be not taking care of your temple. It gotta be something.
No. Just say what it is.
Passive aggressiveness? Is that what you're saying? Or
I ain't even gonna give it all that. Just say what it is. Keep it 100.
Okay.
Just let me know. I'm gonna let you know, so let me know. Don't convince and try.
That makes sense.
Brian's
like all of Brian's exes. All of Brian's exes are gonna watch this like, this mother sucker's talking about me. Like, yeah, no, because you seem consistent. Even. So I feel like the same things turn you off and on about all your relationships. And there's probably like a theme.
I'm not even thinking about any of my past relationships.
What comes to the internet? Everybody thinks you're talking about them even when you're not.
Yeah, nah, I'm not.
I learned that the hard way.
I'm just thinking just in general, but like just keep it 100. Like,
yeah.
if we're trusting our most intimate time with each other, there isn't anything that you can tell me that's gonna make me run away. What's gonna make me run away is that you didn't tell me and I had to find out. Keep it a buck. Tell me what it is. You know what I mean?
I hate finding out about the person I'm talking to from other people.
Yeah, tell me.
Like I thought we had a conversation. Why is so and so telling me?
Third date, you can lay it all out onto me. All right.
Speaking of third date,
I like butt plugs. Okay, that's
just
cool.
Say that.
Just say what it is.
Just say you like your booty touched, and we'll figure out if I got gloves.
I got arrested for doing shoplifting. I don't just say what it is. Don't let me have to find out later.
So you still don't know what third date means?
Nah, tell me.
So the way is, this is an old myth. Lamar knows it, and he's a baby. I thought this was like way before Lamar. The joke is always.
I mean, Lamar's ratchet, so he know a whole lot of stuff. He's from Florida.
Yeah, Florida is pretty. Yeah, Florida man. You guys, Florida man is in the studio with us. So the
Shout
gag
out to my Floridians.
is yes. Well, I'm Haitian and Cuban,
y'all.
so I am Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to me because I'm the entirety of Florida. The third date is supposed to be the date where if you really like somebody, you feel safe to have sex with them without being
I didn't even
judged.
know what it was, and I just put it out. See, look, alignment.
So when I say you smell like a third date,
because I'm coming in 100. Like I'm just giving you what it is. Like I mean, I'm me. But I think you being self-assured and secure in who you are enables you to come to any dynamic expressing the fullness of who you are. And I mean, I get it. It's a journey. It took me a long time to get to this point.
Brian, how old are you if you're not scared to say that?
Enough.
You know what?
Enough to get the job done. What you got for me?
You know what? Brian's going to get so many calls after this. People going to be like, I don't know who that is, but I'm going to find his page. What's your page, Brian? Because you about to get DMs.
At It's Brian Henry, ITS, Brian with an I, never a Y.
Did y'all realize that he didn't even say I was wrong? Like most people are like, no, stop it. He'd be like, well, it's at.
that would be me in denial, and I love.
Okay, so
I love you.
Yeah, I love you for keeping it a buck because you were.
No, people don't be in my DMs like crazy. People think that people. No, they don't.
I thought you would have been the wiki DM king.
I think people know I carry myself a certain way, so I'm not responding to. Like
you come off too.
Out of all the years I've been
Jones.
on, probably all the years on social media, I think someone sent me a new pic one time.
Oh.
And I remember because I was having a conversation with one of my homies, and he was just going through his DMs like this one and that one and this one and that one. I'm like, really? Yeah. I said, nah, people don't come in that way.
Okay, so I feel like I should come off pretty stoic because of the work that I do. But I've learned to not hide my real self, which is a lot goofier. Mm-hmm. And I'm goofy and naughty in real life, even though I get paid to be serious. And I think when people exactly, but I think because I'm so shameless about it, people are like, "Oh, she with the shits," and so they DM me as if I'm with the shits.
I got it. Makes sense.
I wish it didn't.
Well.
I don't need to see your scrotum, sir, at 2:00 in the afternoon. I really don't. Yeah, there's a lot happening in my DMs. I was actually in a relationship one time, and he was like, "You have to turn your DMs off if we're gonna do this because this is actually disrespectful to me." Speaking of boundaries and respect and all that, Brian, you mentioned something on your stories, and this was the day that I hit you up, but it's only a coincidence.
I already know what you're about to say.
This is not why I hit him up, ladies and gentlemen, because this is how rumors get started, and you already think I'm nasty, and this is not why I hit this man up.
I know what you're about to mention.
Brian posted on his stories that he was doing, oh my God, we're about to get into it, something called semen retention.
Okay. Oh, I didn't think you was talking about that. I thought you were talking about something else. Okay, cool.
Uh-huh. Oh, I know there's something else too. There's a B of this. Okay. He also mentioned like a Pop Smoke clip, and it said, the question was, what do you like? What's your sexual orientation? And it said, if you sexy, I'm with it. And Brian, on so many levels, I have so many questions. Okay. Which one do you want to answer first? Because I'm titillated by it all.
In the words of our unfortunately slain brother, Pop Smoke, we say, I'm a slut, give me lit. I'm with all of it.
Oh, Brian, and don't make eye contact when you say it.
That's what he said. That's what he said.
So unpack that.
I'm just quoting that.
It got warm in here. Unpack that, Brian.
Listen, and I said this on a subsequent story as well.
I'm gonna drink some water.
I find myself to be very spiritually in tune, and that's not holier than thou. Those two different things. But I'm gifted from my sacral chakra.
Same.
Your sacral chakra controls your creativity, your sensuality, your spirituality, and your sexuality. Yep. These characteristics are inextricably linked. So I'm naturally a creative. Everybody knows that. Yeah. So when you're creative, you pull into those other realms of spirit to gain inspiration on a consistent basis. And with that as well, it's just naturally tied to your sexuality. You're gonna like People who are creative like more than one thing. I don't care what they say. I don't care who it is. They can say, I'm straight, I'm gay. Nah, that ain't it. You like a spectrum of things. You just may not want to admit it, but that's cool. That's on you.
That was a very well put answer. I've always said that I think me being pansexual and me being a witch by lineage and living the spiritual life that I live, I think they're connected because I'm so turned on by energy that I don't get to like make it finite the way a lot of other people are. You know what I mean? Like if I see an energy that's sexy to me, what it's encapsulated in kind of comes later. And so I was like, oh, that's why, everybody got it in my 20s because I was like, oh, I like your energy, sir, ma'am, them. Like I was like, I just like your energy. Let's go.
Wow, chicka, wow, wow.
Yeah. So Brian is saying that if you are deeply spiritual and you want to touch a lot of things, and that is all aligned, which is interesting because when the Europeans tried to whitewash our religion, they took the sex out of it, right? And we became very puritanical. But if you look at like ancient African religions, they were deeply sexual and sexually fluid. So I think a lot of us people who are sexually fluid are tapping into something that's actually really deeply into our DNA, and it's not an abomination at all.
And those would be the people who our ancestors would go to in our community for healing.
They were the seers and the healers and the medicine people.
Absolutely.
Like even when you watch things about people in NOLA and you'll see like this androgynous person who has all these spells, like there's a reason for that.
And that's why I say about sexuality all the time, like any sexuality that's variant of heterosexuality, it doesn't mean that it's wrong. I think colonizers made us believe that. Right. But in truth, there's a lot of power in having being across the LGBTQ plus spectrum, you know what I mean? And those things were just stripped away from us. But historically, those people within the LGBTQ plus spectrum were the healers of the community. They
were the seers. What am I saying? They're like, I'm not one of them. Well, I will say the pansexuals, we're the P at the very end around the corner. They got us in the back. I'm part of LGBTQ plus part. You got to click the plus to find me.
The plus.
Yeah, I'm the plus part. But
I say it's the alphabet mafia.
It is.
We are the alphabet mafia because it's like you can't say anything out the way about anybody across the spectrum, and they're gonna be ready to cancel you.
Dave Chappelle just went viral the day of this taping for his new Netflix comedy special, where he said the baby shot a man in Walmart who died, and nobody said anything, and then he talked about gay people, and he got canceled, and now that's become like a very controversial clip. He's like, so you can kill a black man, but you can't talk about the gay community, and I was like, oh, this is going to be interesting op-ed tomorrow. So, like, it is a very interesting conversation that we'll unpack when you come back. But my subsequent question about your sexuality and, I love that quote so much. I really, that video was funny. Have you ever found yourself, because you're more open-minded than the average bear, attracted to someone that you totally didn't expect? You're like, didn't know I like this flavor.
Yeah.
You're smiling so hard.
Oh, yeah.
And how did that go?
I already kind of you pick up on it. It's just, I just learned to allow it. Just let it be. Like, I think the issue I had for a long time is that attraction meant attachment. And as I've gotten older, I realized you can be attracted to someone and not be attached to them for a long period of time. We can just be attracted to each other tonight in this moment at this venue, and then you peace out home and I'll peace out home, and we may never see each other again. But allow the attraction. You're like just trying to like deny energy, and that's nah. It takes too much energy to deny the energy.
It was a one night thing when it happened. It was a moment rather than.
No, I'm saying it could be multiple moments where you're attracted to someone. Just allow it. Like if someone piques your interest, just allow yourself to look. Allow yourself to, in my mind at times I'm like, thank you, thank you for him, thank you for her. You know what I mean? Thank you for who you are as a being. Because that's in this particular moment, that's what I'm attracted to, and just allow it versus like trying to fight it. No, I can't do it. Nah, this is what
that's so funny because when I was younger, was shocked the first time I found myself attracted to somebody after the fact. Because I used to be like, if I'm not attracted to you immediately, it's never gonna happen.
And
that's
also,
not true.
The caveat also is that attraction doesn't always mean sexual attraction. I could just like your shoes. I could just like your swag, your persona.
True, but I'm nasty. I'm talking about sex, Brian.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm talking about the pop smoke. I'm talking about the sex.
Okay. Let's get.
So look at Brian's face. He's like, this girl got me over here and gave me brown liquor. And
right. I don't even. First of all, let's just talk about that. I don't even drink dark liquor.
This is great.
It's a setup.
It is actually like a whole. Setup. It's a whole ass setup. Welcome to the show, Human Eyes.
Nah, it's cool though. All right.
Even Lamar's drinking. Like I already
knew who I was dealing with.
Thank you. First of all,
stay ready and got to get ready.
Who do you think I am, Brian? Like, what is your perception of me as my newest friend?
Your whole self. You're your whole self.
This motherfucker
And
stays
you gonna do your best to pull the whole stuff out of me?
This
The first thing you say, like,
motherfucker.
let's uncover some of these layers. Okay, all right, cool, let's do it.
I feel like I'm playing tennis with Serena Williams. You say we got 10 minutes. We're gonna see how long we got for real. Because I need to get to the bottom of this. So like I feel like I'm playing tennis with Serena Williams. You are so sharp, and I love that because I have to dumb myself down so much when I talk to people.
Don't ever do that.
I never have to dumb myself down when I talk to you. But then I'm like, here's the thing. You know about astrology, and we have a connection through astrology.
For sure.
And because both my love sign and my rising sign, which is how you socialize, guys, is Gemini. Verbal like sparring makes me giddy, but then I get more mischievous.
So what she said is that it's my fault.
No, seriously, I'm
It's
like,
my
he
fault.
can keep up. Like, what can we do now, right?
My mom was a Virgo, so I get it how I live, sharp with the tongue. She had a mouth on her.
Oh, my moon's in Virgo too. I'm like, when I tell you it's pew 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 pew
Pew pew.
like seriously, my boss used to call me that.
It's a 22.
It's a chopper.
It's a chopper.
So I remember when I was younger, I used to always say, if I'm not attracted to you immediately, it's not going to happen. And then I met someone.
I kind of agree.
I used to think that.
Don't try to convince me to be attracted to
No.
you. It's just going to be annoyed.
Well, this is the thing that happened. Nobody tried to convince anything. This motherfucker just showed up being amazing, but just not in the package that I expected.
Oh, okay.
And then like,
So you had a type?
it wasn't that I had a type. I just knew that I had never done that. Whatever that is, I had never done that before.
Okay.
And then 6 weeks in, I'm like, you so thoughtful and consistent, and you keep it a buck all the time. I don't even have to say keep it a buck because you're already there.
You going to give him some cookies out the cookie jar?
I was like, now I had, like, literally, this person's face started to change to me into whatever I needed to see. And my question is, has that ever happened to you? Because up until it happened to me, I never thought it was possible. Brian's like, no, I know on sight. Keep it a buck. It's cool. It's cool.
I don't desire to be aggressed, but I'm not the most aggressive.
Huh.
It's a weird dynamic.
What in the hell?
I know, right? I just like things to flow. So
yeah, but it flowed though.
it flowed.
It like there was
Man,
no
most time-
intention on anybody's part. I think we were surprised the first time we had sex. Neither one of us saw it coming. I was like, oh.
Because I'm so
Yeah.
into my feelings. Like if I feel something off the rip, it's a thing. You know what I mean?
Maybe
Whether
you're
it's
more
not
in touch with their
recip-
feelings than I am then.
No, I think that person, showed up for you and gave himself to you and loved you in a way that you didn't know that you needed to be loved. That's why it flipped the light switch. Like, wait a minute.
I was like, I like this. Whatever this is, I'm adding it to the list.
But yeah, I mean, who knows? Who knows what's in store for me? But that's never been my experience.
Brian's like, look, I can walk out here right now tomorrow and see something different. Your perfect date, high end and down to earth version.
When you say high end, what you mean?
Like you gonna spend a coin and it's gonna be what it is, or it's $20, but we're having an amazing time. What's your perfect date? Spending a coin, and your perfect date,
No,
like
my
keeping
perfect date is someone who can do both. Get you a partner who can do both. Because I'm from Baltimore again.
Mm-hmm.
I will very much go home and go to the corner sub shop, and you get something like super ratchet to eat. You know what I mean? I dated this girl one time, and I took her home. And
Okay, get comfortable, guys. This is story time with Brian.
In Baltimore, they had these things called chicken boxes: 4 wings and fries,
They sure
salt,
do.
pepper, ketchup.
You never got no mambo sauce on the side?
That's DC.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Oh, that is DC.
The mambo sauce is DC.
I lived in
Although
DC.
I got some mambo sauce in my fridge. I ain't gonna lie.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm coming over to get some mambo sauce. Go ahead.
I got you 2 flavors, spicy and just spicy for you. I ain't gonna get other flavors.
You know
No
I like
mild.
spicy. I love that you know me. Go ahead.
No, but like we were on my grandmother's porch, and she was like, I don't eat chicken on the bone.
Oh.
And I said, what? And it was like a ripple effect. What's that commercial about salsa? New York City.
Right,
New York
right.
City. It was
Salsa
like a ripple
from New York
It was
City.
a ripple effect from the porch and the people who on the porch all the way through the house. She said, what? What?
She don't eat chicken on the bone. Is she black?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I'm dating you, you need to be able to. We gonna go, to catch and spend a few $100s. You know what I mean? Catch LA, catch New York, wherever. But we also can go to the local hood shop and get something that's gonna be $10 that we know is unhealthy for us. Like you got to be able to seamlessly integrate into both of those worlds. So it's not a perfect date that represents either or. It's your ability to do both for me.
I love that. You and these perfect answers. I think for me, my perfect date high end would be traveling somewhere really exotic and different and trying things that we would have never conceptualized before. Like I think I went to
Okay.
I was in the middle of the rainforest
Mm-hmm.
and getting a couple's massage, and then the ladies left, and we were still in the rainforest, and that was a great date. I'll stop the story there. So that rainforest date was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It was in the middle of Indonesia somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But then my second favorite date was literally in the house with the fort. Like we made a fort in the living room and just watched movies on a projector on the wall and just talked until 3 o'clock in the morning.
Which is just as valuable. And so now you make me think like my ideal or dream date or date that I am foreseeing. Like I've been blessed to travel a lot, and I've now got to the point where I stopped traveling certain places I want to go because I'm saving that for my future partner.
Me too.
So like,
oh, me too.
one of my dream dates is I want to go skiing in Auckland, New Zealand in July.
Oh my God, that's very specific.
Like to go to New Zealand with my Kiwi folks, my Kiwi fam.
And as somebody
and
who
go
actually has
skiing.
looked at that area, he picked the right month to go as well. He did his homework.
And we went to Southern Hemisphere. Like I would love to do that. You know what I mean?
That's dope.
That I've never been to Vancouver. I want to go to Vancouver and go jet skiing and do different things, but I've been saving certain places just like, you know what? When that right person comes along.
I think travel might be a love language.
Oh, for sure.
I think for me, I'm always like, God, I've been to the right place with the wrong person.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you how many countries I feel like owe me a do-over because I brought the wrong Negro
Let me
with
tell
me.
you, if I don't kick it with you in town, I'm not kicking with you out the country.
The representative was in town. The real them didn't make
I
it
need
on the
more
plane.
time to know the whole person.
Yeah, I'm the kind of
It
person.
can't be 3 months like, oh, let's go. No. You got to know.
We planned a trip on the second date.
For anybody who's listening, you need to know a man or you need to know a woman across multiple seasons before that's your woman or before that's your man.
So you don't believe in knowing early? How long would it take
I
you?
know how I feel early, but who are you? Like, who are you when you're sad? Who are you when you're angry? Who are you when you're hangry? Who are you when you get bad news? Who are you when you get great news? When someone passes away, when you get a job promotion, when your sibling or parent pisses you off. You know, like, I want to see the range, the pieces and the makings of you. Because you got to know what you're signing up for. Because everyone who comes to a relationship, they're going to come as is.
I will say that I've met some really lovely people, and the one version of them that broke my heart and made it impossible for me to move forward was who they were when they felt I disappointed them. If you cannot show me kindness and grace when I'm not the shiny thing, I immediately know I'm not safe with you. Because you're telling me I have to be perfect at all times to keep your love.
Bingo.
Yeah. I dated somebody for almost a year.
I dated a Virgo like that.
It was Virgo too. It was a Virgo Libra cusp.
Virgos is all about perfection. I know.
Which, by the way, perfection is just a glamorized way of being brutal to people because all human beings are fallible. So if your version of living is perfection, then that means I can't be human.
Facts.
So like, yeah.
Mind you, Virgos, I love Virgos.
Virgo
like,
moon, I'm talking about myself.
I'm a rising Virgo. Right. So it's in
we
me.
both
So
got Virgo in our chart. We had to beat the Virgo out of us into
No, it's just
playing.
learning that, perfection is just being present.
Yeah.
That's what true perfection is.
When somebody that you love has seen you in a vulnerable moment and chooses judgment over compassion, everything in me dies in that moment. Because to me, this is where you got to show me how much you love me, and you chose that instead. I can't. That's a deal breaker for me.
Yeah. Virgo I previously dated, he told me, he was like, yo, I don't understand why you don't have a body. Like, you should be swole. You work for yourself. You create your own time. You manage your own schedule. Like, why aren't you like impeccable with your pecs?
We're gonna pivot because I was just triggered.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I will say too, and we're talking about types and dating and all these vulnerable things. I will say that in LA, I had walked in very comfortable with my body, but knowing that this land was built for a certain kind of physique. Yeah. But I didn't ingest it though. I never once felt like I was less cute. I was just like, oh, there's gonna be a certain type of people who don't see how cute I am because they've been conditioned a certain way. That's not my bag, right?
Right.
I was surprised by how many men and women hit on me when I moved to LA.
Why?
No, because I didn't.
It's your energy.
That's what happened,
that's
right?
Point blank period.
And so for me, but here's the thing though about the energy thing. Number one, as someone who likes to get it in, you're not fucking you need to also be doing things to my body parts, right? So like that's great that you like my personality, but the rest of me is gonna have to show up when it's time to get it in. Right. And I dated this guy who kept acting like he was proud of himself for dating a big girl, and I was like, oh. And then but here's the thing though, I was being nice. I was like, oh, he don't know who he's messing with. I like myself more than he likes him, so this is awkward. So one day I was like, he was like, I don't understand why it's a problem. Because he kept on saying, well, you're not my usual type, but isn't it amazing? And I was like, pause. Society tells you that you need a size 2, right? Society tells me I need a rich dude with a big dick. We're both making concessions. I don't throw yours in your face though. You see the look you.
I mean, that's the easiest way to check a man's ego.
But here's the thing, because that's the easiest way to check a woman's ego. Like, you're trying to make me feel bad for liking my body because you're giving yourself credit in a very condescending way. And in that moment, I was like, I want him to see for a moment what it tastes like. And when he made that face, I said, so pause. I think your dick size is perfect and I love who you are. But you see how you felt in those 5 seconds. 5 seconds of that, you literally curled up into the fetal position internally. I felt his energy. I'm like, imagine what it's been like for 3 weeks of you acting like you're doing me a favor. He never said it again.
Of course he did.
I also think I might have broken him a little bit. I don't think he ever bounced back from that. I don't think he ever.
He is no longer in the picture, ladies
He's
and gentlemen.
no longer.
He has exited stage left.
I'm very
Kiki
single.
Shepard escorted him out.
If y'all know any grown men who like what it is and are not worried about what it ain't, tell them to call me. But no, like, I really feel like
202.
Yes, it is a DC number.
It is a DC number.
It is such. Did you notice that too when I called you the first
Of course.
time? Probably felt like home. Brian, oh God, we have to wrap this up soon.
Okay.
I just realized that
So what else you want to ask me?
Sorry. Like, this is how Brian ends up at my house for hours just talking, because I could talk to you for hours because you're
Likewise.
you can keep up. I just love that you can keep up, which is a big thing in any kind of relationship that you have with anybody out here. I also think friendships in LA are a special kind of beast.
Yeah.
Because this is the one place where friendship, DC's probably second, where friendship literally might impact your ability to eat in a way that's very hyper.
It does.
Yeah, if people like you, you eating regardless. If people don't like you, you not eating regardless.
If you come in to add value to the tribe, you eating.
Exactly. All right. How do you want to be remembered as an ancestor? I know we're ending on a light note, right?
Oh, that's nothing heavy.
That's nothing heavy at all.
I want to be remembered as a light bearer, as someone who came to shed light on the world, you know, not only with my gifts and talents that have come from my ancestors, but just encouraging a light from the standpoint of encouraging others to tap into their unique gifts. You know, I think that you can't honor who God created you to be if you spend 10 to 12 hours a day doing something that makes you miserable. I think we're all innately gifted, and there's been so many cultural things that's been slapped upon us from birth that blind us to who we truly are. And I think our journey here on this earth is to discover who we are, and then to go out into the world and shine from that lens and that light. And I hope that the light that I'm blessed to shine with encourages others to do the same with their life.
Ooh,
that's how I want to be remembered.
That's and then the last question, Jesus, like, where do you even go after that? Ryan, this is amazing. This is like a mental gasm. Like, for those of you who like great conversation, this might be one of my favorite episodes. If you had to describe if someone who loved you and saw you clearly had to describe you in 3 words, what would they say?
Oh man, they would say it would be 3 words. It'd be 3 descriptions.
Yes, hit it.
They would be like, some of my friends have told me recently, they're like, yo, we don't know who we're gonna get.
Unpredictable.
I'm unpredictable. In my best of moments, fun and joyful.
Yes, very.
In my worst of moments, they be like, yo, he's so type A and anal and specific.
Particular.
Those are some things they would say.
Wait, I think those might have been my 3 words. Okay, so apparently
they be like, relax. Like, why don't you? And I'm like, I am relaxed when I'm relaxed, but when I'm relaxed when things are the
Virgo in you is strong.
It is.
The Virgo. My 3 words would be mischievous.
Very.
This is me behaving. I'm trying so hard, Brian. You know me. I'm trying so hard to behave. This is on camera. My mom's gonna see this, so I'm trying to keep it cute. Mischievous. Hey, mom. Hey, family. Mischievous. Very nurturing. And clear.
Clear.
I be clear as fuck.
I love that.
It's a burden sometimes. Because people create smoke, and it's a cute show that I didn't buy tickets for. And I wait for the smoke to clear. I'm like, I still meant what the fuck I said. Like, so yeah, I think we're very similar in that. But you seem like you are a recovering perfectionist.
I am.
I can feel it in you. The intention to be supple is there.
Yeah. I didn't know that I was nurturing. I didn't know that's in me, but I was.
Oh, you're very nurturing.
I was fighting it.
I was having a very bad day, and you just like swooped in and saved it. Like, remember that I was having.
It wasn't even intentional. I was just like, hey.
But it was very intentional.
I was listening. My spirit said, hit you up, and so.
Yeah, and the gift you gave me brought me a piece I didn't know that I needed. So I just want to thank you for that. So you guys, as you can see from this episode, we are very fond
of each other.
Yes, we are very fond of each other. We're also, let's say the audience is very fond of Brian Henry.
Blue trying to call me red. She's like working to make me red pill. She blue pill.
You know what? I am just a work in progress. I do think though that people need to see that you can be smart and you can be compassionate, you can be civically engaged and still have fun.
For
the
sure.
thing that I like about us is that we don't take ourselves too seriously when it's appropriate not to.
I take myself more seriously in private.
Yes.
By myself than I do in the world.
And one day we're gonna have a conversation about freeing you from.
Listen, you got whatever that hocus pocus you got. I'm ready.
We're gonna lay you down and pour some stuff on you and get you to woosah.
Am I gonna have clothes on?
Okay, well, guys, this was a great show. This is the best show ever. Brian, you coming back?
I'm very much coming back.
You see, we lifted the hood, and there was nothing. Like you had nothing on apparently at the end of it, but there was like completely bare bones, Brian, and we loved the real, emotionally naked version of you.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Brian was like, "Where's this going, Blue? You make it
yeah,
clean."
right. I was like, "Where we going?"
I was trying to how do I keep this clean? I will say, guys, for those of you who've been watching the show and who realize that I tend to talk in sexual innuendos, as someone who used to be a phone sex operator, I didn't know that counted as
you
sex.
Was girl 6?
Yeah, I had to stop because my clients got.
You met Spike Lee? He directed you?
That movie really was a little too close to real life.
Mm-hmm.
I had to quit because one of my biggest clients worked in IT and was threatening to track me down. Yeah.
You were that good.
Oh yeah, I got a lot of tips. But that's the reason why I talk like this. I think it's a learning disability. Lamar, when he started working for me, literally would be like, "Is she trying to get me called in by HR? Why is she talking?"
He felt right at home.
He really did though. This show has been naughty, but sensually cerebral. Brian, you probably have a lot of new fans. I'm going to get a lot of phone calls about this episode. I can already tell. This is the part where we do our homework. Thank you for listening to Humanize. This show is sponsored by BlueCentricShop.com, where you can get all your spiritual baths and intention candles, yada, yada. If you liked what you heard today, and I know you did, please give us a 5-star review and subscribe to the show wherever you listen to podcasts. And for those of you who want to see all the expressions from Brian during this episode, you can see the early release at patreon.com/BlueCentric. And then later it will come out on YouTube. Brian, I adore you.
I love you as well.
I really, really adore you. Lamar.
Crazy self.
Lamar looks like he's watching his aunt and uncle talk.
But he's looking forward to being in the seat like, yeah, this is going to be me. I'm going to be talking.
Yeah, Lamar's actually going to come in one of the episodes.
I'm going to be Jason Derulo, talk dirty to me. That's what it is.
One day we're going to have Lamar come on the show and show you his hip game. He grew up around a lot of Haitians.
No, that's Lamar. There's Lamar and then there's Lamar.
Dang, spoiler alert.
Okay, we're going to get into that in the next episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. And that's the show. Bye.
Peace.